Imagine this: a young girl, barely 10 years old, standing at the edge of a dusty road in a forgotten village, the sun dipping low, painting the sky in hues of orange and gold. Her bare feet caked with earth, her eyes wide with a hunger not for food, but for something deeper, a whisper of possibility that the world beyond these cracked hills might hold her name in its heart. She clutches a tattered book, the only one she owns, its pages yellowed and torn, but to her it is a treasure chest brimming with worlds she has never touched. She dreams of cities with lights that never dim, of voices that rise in song, of a life where her voice matters, where her story is not silenced by the weight of expectation or the chains of tradition. This is where our journey begins, not with grand fanfare, but with the quiet courage of a child who dares to believe she is more than the circumstances she was born in, to feel the warmth of that fading sun on your skin, the grit of the earth beneath your toes, the pulse of her heartbeat quickening as she traces the words in that book with a finger that trembles, not from fear, but from the electric thrill of what could be now. Picture her years later, a young woman, now standing in a crowded marketplace, the air thick with the scent of spices and the clamor of voices bargaining for a better price. She wears a simple dress stitched by her own hands, but there's a fire in her eyes that no thread can contain. She has walked miles to be here, selling fruits from her small garden. Each coin she earns a step closer to the dream that has grown roots in her soul. She speaks to the women around her, her voice soft at first, but gaining strength with every word. She tells them of the book of the worlds. It opened, of the power that lies in knowing, in learning, in rising above the stories others write for you. Some laugh, some turn away, but a few listen, their eyes reflecting the same spark she once felt in the glow of that setting sun. And in those moments, connections are forged, not with grand gestures, but with the quiet sharing of truth, the kind that changes lives one heart at a time. Now, see her in a classroom, a modest room with walls that have seen better days, but filled with children whose eyes shine with the same hunger she once knew. She is their teacher. Now her voice no longer soft, but resonant, carrying the weight of her journey and the lightness of her hope. She tells them stories not just from books, but from her life, of the girl who stood at the edge of a dusty road, of the woman who turned coins into possibilities, of the power that lives in every one of them, if only they dare to reach for it. She watches as their faces light up, as their hands shoot up with questions, as their dreams begin to take shape in the space between her words and their imaginations. This is the ripple effect of one life lived with purpose, one voice that refused to be silenced, one heart that chose to believe in the beauty of its own becoming. But life is not a straight path, is it? There are storms that come, unannounced moments when the weight of the world threatens to crush the spirit. She faces them 2 days when the garden fails, when the coins are not enough, when the laughter of doubters rings louder than the whispers of hope. There are nights when she sits alone under a sky heavy with stars, questioning if the dream was ever hers to chase, if the road was too long, if the cost was too high. But in those moments, she returns to the girl she was, to the book that lit the first spark, to the women in the marketplace who listened, to the children whose eyes now carry her light. And she remembers that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to keep going despite it. She rises not because the path is easy, but because the dream is worth it, because the lives she touches are worth it, because her story is worth telling. And so she keeps walking, keep teaching, keep dreaming. Now envision her years from now, her hair touched with silver, but her spirit as vibrant as ever. She stands before a gathering, not in a village, but in a hall filled with faces from every corner of the world. Her voice carries across the room, not with the force of thunder, but with the gentleness of rain that nourishes the earth. She speaks of the girl, the marketplace, the classroom, the storms, the stars. She speaks of the power of one voice to change many, of the beauty of a life lived not for oneself, but for the light it can spark in others. And as she speaks, the room is silent, not with emptiness, but with the kind of stillness that comes when hearts are full, when souls are seen, when dreams are no longer distant, but alive in the air between us. This is her legacy, not buildings or titles, but the lives she has touched, the dreams she has awakened, the courage she has instilled in every heart that dared to listen. And as her voice fades into the quiet, you feel it, don't you? The stirring in your own chest, the whisper of your own possibility, the reminder that you too carry a spark that the world needs, that your story, however small it may seem, is part of a larger tapestry of human becoming. So close your eyes for a moment and see yourself standing at the edge of your own dusty road, clutching your own tattered book, dreaming your own impossible dream. Feel the sun on your skin, the earth beneath your feet, the pulse of your own heartbeat quickening with the thrill of what could be. This is your moment, your marketplace, your classroom, your storm, your stars, your voice, waiting to be heard, your light, waiting to be shared. The world is vast and sometimes cruel, but it is also brimming with possibility, with connections, with the quiet magic of one life touching another. So rise, speak, dream, keep going, for in the end, it is not the grand gestures that change the world, but the quiet courage of those who dare to believe in the beauty of their own becoming and in the power of their voice to light the way for others.